I'll go ahead and start off the Mississippi State recap with baseball. Actually, no, I'm not. I said last week that we wouldn't talk about basketball anymore, and then Jack made the point that we might because of portal news. We had our first portal news of the day, or lack of. Madison Francis is returning for her sophomore year.
Have more portal news besides that.
Oh, we do.
Bye to Delquan and potentially JDF.
Negative portal news. I'm not talking about the negative.
Okay.
Delquan Warren entered the portal. JDF entered the portal. He said he's open to returning, but we'll see how that goes. But the positive news is what we're focusing on in today's show. Madison Francis has announced she's returning for her second year, her sophomore year, which is huge. She was fantastic defensively and was a fringe 5-star recruit, maybe a 4-star, depending on what site you used out of high school. So being able to keep her is huge. And then we already know Wadozie is returning, so I just want to throw that out there because now we have two players who were two of our best players, if not our two best players, have already said they're coming back. But that's all on basketball. Cool. Baseball goes 4-0 this week against 4 ranked in-state opponents. We had an opportunity for revenge on Tuesday night against Southern Miss, and we very much took advantage of it. We beat them, I believe, 12-0. We run-ruled them. I actually don't have the score pulled up because it was just irrelevant, the exact score. We run-ruled them, and it was one of the longest 7.5-inning games that I can remember.
As well as a midweek attendance record?
6.5 innings. Yes, 6.5 innings, and yes, it was the midweek attendance record, the most we've ever had on campus for a midweek game, and probably the most that anyone's ever had for a midweek game.
Almost 12K.
Yeah, I don't know who else is pulling 12K for a midweek game. If someone else did, I apologize. That was not intended to be disrespectful. We just have all the other top 25 records, so I kind of assume.
Yeah.
But yeah, also pitching showed out on Tuesday night. Chris Billingsley got, I believe, his first start of the season, and we did not allow a single run.
It's like a Jane Austen type name right there.
Chris Billingsley?
Yeah. That's like, I don't know, that's from Emma or Pride and Prejudice or something, I swear.
Mr.
Sorry,
Billingsley?
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Mr. Okay, yeah, if you say it with an English accent, then yes, it sounds like that out of Jane Austen. Pitching showed out. We did not have a single walk or single run allowed, and we finished the evening with 12 strikeouts. So that was kind of huge. And then the offense, after the really, really slow start a couple weeks ago in Hattiesburg, came out firing and scored a run in each of the first 5 innings. So it was just a really great showing on both sides of the ball and kind of set us up for this weekend really, really well. So this weekend, I'm not going to lie, I was somewhat concerned, and I know a lot of State fans who were far more concerned than I about Ryan McPherson's injury, sidelining him for this weekend, and Charlie Foster stepping up to make his first start, or his first weekend start since the second week of the season against Delaware. Foster absolutely stepped up. He set a career high in innings pitched and then limited them to just a single run. It was, I believe, a solo shot. So it was a really good showing. He went, I believe, 5 innings because I know it was a career high, but I believe it was 5 innings. And then it came down. The way the game ended was actually beautiful. So State was leading. We had a 3-run inning, took the lead. Ole Miss then bounces back in the 7th inning. They have a 3-run home run to go up by 1. And they come back from commercial after a scoreless 8th, the top of the 9th, and the comeback from commercial, and it's this home field camera pointed to the outfield light showing the rain falling. And I was watching this game with my family because we were at a wedding, and I said, this is huge. This is like the best thing possible for us because we have to have a run, and it's just going to be harder to pitch and field with the weather the way this is. And my mom was like, well, yeah, but then we have to play in it. And I said, it doesn't really matter because if we don't score, it's over.
Yeah,
like, it's one of those, like,
sure.
We just have to score, and then we'll figure it out when we get there. And we scored 2 runs in the top of the 9th, and the game winner was a Sean James triple to right field where the right fielder slipped, like egregiously slipped, like ate it. Did you see it? I assume JP did.
I'm busy looking at the spelling of Sean in the notes.
That is how his name is spelled.
And it's a new spelling of Sean for me. It's, there's
Chone, for those of you who don't know.
Never seen that before.
The first couple times I said it, I pronounced it Chone.
I was reading your notes before
Sean.
You said it. That's what I was expecting.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sean James. But the right fielder slipped egregiously, which doesn't actually end up affecting the play because Sean James ends up not scoring from third. But it was still, we woke up the people who had already gone to sleep in our Airbnb because we were screaming. which I felt bad about. But watching it and knowing that like I had kind of like called it, that it was like
Sure.
the weather's going to impact it, which it didn't technically, but emotionally it did because Ole Miss just looked defeated in the bottom of the ninth. Then Saturday comes, and Tomas Valinkis has his worst outing of SEC play, which was 5 innings pitched with 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 9 strikes.
Yeah, we got to be better, Tomas. Come on now.
Yeah, that was really kind of underwhelming. No, I'm kidding. It was, I mean, his first 2 outings were just absurd. And so, unfortunately, Saturday can be labeled his worst outing, but it was still a fantastic showing from him. And then the bats showed up as well. We had 3 home runs on Saturday. Kevin Maluski, Jacob Parker, Garrick Fry, they all had home runs. Jacob Parker, it was his first home run of the weekend, and he continues to impress. And Tucker, if you're still here, Tucker texted me, he was like,
He just.
oh, okay, cool. I'm going to finish Saturday, and then I'll check and see what he had to say, because I think it's about Friday.
Yeah.
But he texted me, and he was like, imagine, like, Jacob's so good. Imagine if we got in JoJo, too. And I was like, that's the kind of greed they talk about in the Bible.
Yeah.
Because JoJo is the higher-rated brother. He got drafted in the first round, so he's, he might be more talented. But I love Jacob playing for us, like, so I'm not going to, suffer from that kind of greed.
JoJo gets to join the cool list of people that, if they played in college, would have played at state.
Exactly. Him, Austin Riley is a big one. I can't think of any others because I haven't followed
James Wood.
James Wood?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Who's committed to state.
Really? Who is that?
Plays for the Nationals.
Yeah.
He is a younger guy who currently looks like he could potentially be a bust. He's a power bat.
He was in the home run derby last year.
So he's always going to strike out a lot. The issue is he currently strikes out a little too much to
That's
even
tough.
like be a viable power bat. But
and then it was also a really big week Saturday and Sunday because Ole Miss came into the weekend ranking 11th nationally in home runs. And after the 2 home runs we gave up Friday, they did not hit another one the rest of the weekend. So that was really, really cool to see us kind of shut them down and take away what they do best. And then Tucker said in the chat he couldn't believe fans questioning going to Ben Davis. Hold on, I got to make it a little bit bigger because I can't see everything. Couldn't believe fans questioned going to Ben Davis in the 7th on Friday. That was absolutely the right call. I agree. I'm not questioning. I don't think I've questioned a single decision Brian O'Connor has made yet because while some decisions may not have worked out, if I was in charge, I would also make decisions that might be the right decision and work. Like sometimes things just don't work out exactly like you plan. That doesn't mean they're not the right decision.
correct.
So I had not questioned the decision Brian O'Connor has made yet, and especially not that because Ben Davis has been a great reliever and good closer for us this season. And then finally, Sunday's game, Duke Stone improved to 5-0, and then as impressive as the offense was, it was the most runs we scored all weekend. Pitching was the story. It was scary. It was very scary. They loaded the bases 4 times. Ole Miss did. We were constantly letting them get into scoring situations, and yet we held them to 1 run and stranded 14 guys. We left 14 guys out there, or our pitching did. So very impressive by them. Walks were tough. Singles were tough. But when it kind of came down to it, rubber meets the road, they were able to get out of really scary situations. So that was a credit to our pitching staff. O'Connor is now the 3rd consecutive coach to sweep Ole Miss in his first year. And we've now won 9 of the last series against Ole Miss. We're tied for first in the SEC with Texas and I can't remember the other team off the top of my head, so I'm not going to try and guess. But it's, I believe, a 3-way tie for first in the SEC.
Is it Georgia?
Probably.
It's kind of got to be Georgia. I
think we'll say Georgia, but with the caveat we could be wrong. But we're 7-2 in SEC play, which is the best start in SEC play since 2003. And currently we're on an 8-game win streak, including the 2 sweeps the last 2 weekends, and then a win over Southern Miss and a win over Jackson State. We're number 4 in the country now via D1 baseball, and we got a huge weekend this weekend against Georgia, number 5. They come to town for a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, which is cool because we'll get to pack Duty Noble, maybe set the record for a Thursday game. I don't know what the records are for Thursday games, but we'll do that and then get to go home for Easter on Sunday, which is nice. We didn't get to do that last year, I believe we played an Easter game last year. But yeah, huge weekend upcoming, huge weekend in the rearview mirror. But that's baseball for you. That's the baseball recap. And then other sports, softball, their weekend is not done. They had a Saturday, Sunday, Monday game, so they have a rubber match tonight against number 23 South Carolina, which would be a huge win. They have not won a series yet in SEC play. They lost to Tennessee 1-2. They lost to Georgia 1-2. I think there might be one more series. Maybe they have. I could be mistaken. I can't remember the last series. I can't remember who we played last weekend, so I'm going to take that back because I just don't know if it's true. But it would still be a huge top 25 win here in Starkville. I might actually go to that game after this. We shall see. But yeah, a rubber match there, and there's ranked number 15 in Softball America. So that updated today. So that includes the 1-1. And then men's tennis, 2-0, 2 top 30 or 35 wins. Number 27 Ole Miss, number 34 Kentucky. Women's tennis, unfortunately, goes 0-2, loses at number 2 Auburn and at number 15 Florida. They still have a couple games left to bounce back and break that SEC to get more SEC wins this year than the last 4 years combined, which would be a super cool mark to reach.
Yeah.
But that's what I've got my eye on there. And that is your Mississippi State weekly update. Great week in Mississippi State sports. Great weekend with Madison Francis announcing her return, baseball sweep, men's tennis wins, and then softball the chance to put the bow on it tonight.
Sure. Thanks, Sanders.
No problem.